Welcome everybody to both sides of the conversation. I'm your co-founder, John Henry. Today is Tuesday. We have another segment of our hidden gems. Tonight we have some phenomenal guests tonight. We have the leadership of 100% College Prep here tonight. Finally, we've been able to catch up and get around. Everybody's so busy, and they had time tonight. And tonight is the night we're going to highlight some of the other staff and leadership here at 100% College Prep. Before we get started, just want to make a couple of announcements. First, I want to say shout out to Erica Morris and to the young people for the San Francisco Citywide BSU. What a phenomenal job they did this weekend, putting together a phenomenal showcase of some of the things that the BSU is doing, from going out to the community, giving back to the homeless, to see some of the talent that our young people have in the community, how they collaborated and worked together to continue to grow this BSU, to have a powerful message and sticking together and showing collaborating what our young people could do to make change in our community. So just want to give them their shout out and kudos to them. Thank you to our board president, Shaman Walton, for showing up, and all of the phenomenal community leaders who participated this weekend and supporting our young people, for them to achieve the goals that they need as community families. We need to continue to stand behind them and support them, especially as we transition out of this pandemic and they're going to do the things that they're trying to do. It's just powerful to see the community and families get behind these young people. Again, just want to say, earlier I talked about it. Our prayers out to the families. Yesterday we had another massacre shooting here in America, in Colorado. 10 people was killed. Another unfortunate situation. Again, the conversation for mental health in this country, we're going to continue hone in on that conversation and figure out as a community, as a country, what can we do? This mental health crisis in America is a crisis. It is just as bad as this pandemic, and we need to have the same efforts and concerns that we have about this COVID, as well as we need to have those efforts pointed towards our mental health. What a tragedy to have. And then another tragic situation. We had another couple of incidents in the city and across the Bay Area, impacting our Asian community again with some robberies and different things. This behavior is not acceptable. We have to stand together in solidarity. We have to stop this in our community. Again, we just have to work with each other, get the information out to the community, and we got to continue to work with our young people and some of the people of our community of how we deal with each other, how we handle each other. And we're just thankful that some of the resources here in the Bay Area are starting to get out to the communities, and hopefully we'll be able to impact some of the community with these resources so we can get people job ready, job training, and get some of this funding going to some of these people, so that people are not doing desperate acts to put funds or monetary gains in their pockets. We just got to definitely work together. And we're going to have some conversation. I'm reaching out to our folks and some of our leadership, some of our young leaders of the Asian community. This conversation about solidarity has to happen. Some of the issues around what's going on has to happen with community, because again, when we don't stick together, these type of heinous acts and these hateful acts will impact all of our communities, and we have to stick together. And we can't just come together when one thing is happening. We need all community members from all communities to come together when these acts are happening for all communities and support. So with that being said, just looking forward to those conversations coming up. We're going to start getting through the program. Our co-founder is going to be coming on shortly for some communication for the community. If not, I'll definitely address it with the community coming up. So with that being said, you guys know this is Women History Month. Every show we're going to spotlight another woman of the month. We have another one tonight that we're going to do, but also I want to also say it again. Every show I'm going to remind everybody it is also Social Worker Month, and we just want to make sure that we acknowledge all of our social workers out there who are doing a phenomenal job in the community, dealing with the families, dealing with the young people, and sometimes in the hospital, dealing with the issues that most people don't want to deal with. And we want to also recognize and highlight them. I've reached out to a couple. We're trying to get them on the last Tuesday here of the month. If not, we still going to acknowledge them. This is their month as well. And we just want to let them know that we appreciate their service and the things that they do for our families and for community. So shout out to all the social workers out there. We salute and honor you as well. So with that being said, we're going to get into our women's spotlight of the night. Tonight we have Lindsay Scott. She's an American model, a software developer, and an actress. She was the first African American model to sign an executive runway contract with Calvin Klein between modeling assignments. Some of the prestigious fashion houses like Gucci, Prada, Victoria's Secret. She also writes mobile apps for iOS devices. She has been credited for challenging the stereotypes about models and computer programmers and trying to inspire young women to get into coding. So tonight, Lindsay Scott, we wanted to highlight you as our Women of the Month, our community spotlight. So just want to thank her for the things that she's doing to impact the people of our community and inspire our youth. And one last thing, just compassion. With so much going on in our communities, we just need our community to continue the positive words, the thoughtful action, and just showing love to each other. We are in a place right now in America coming out of this pandemic where people are just suffering all kind of ways. We have to have compassion. We have to have humility. And we have to give people second chances. I know sometimes things happen in our community. I'm not for this cancel culture. Because I know what it feels to be canceled. I feel like in the Black and brown community, we have been the cancel culture for so many years. And again, we're not perfect. We are all human beings. People do make bad decisions. And if we get into this process of cancel culture and every time somebody does something or say something, we don't deal with them or we don't give them an opportunity, it's not going to involve our community. We are trying to break the silence. For so many years, the Black and brown community has been silenced when things have came up. And we don't want to continue that behavior in our community. And again, people do make mistakes. And I'm not saying every mistake is forgivable. But again, we have to do better as community. When people make mistakes, we have to get behind them. We have to coach them. We have to educate them and give them an opportunity as well. Because again, if we just cancel everybody out, who's going to be the one to speak up? And we know there's a lot of politics and things that drive these type of conversations. But we have to be careful of this cancel culture that's going on right now. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and bring up our first guest tonight. This is Miss Diane Gray. What a phenomenal sister. I am just so impressed with the work that they're doing in the community to impact our young people, their commitment, her dedication to making sure that young people are equipped and empowered to go out and do the things that's needed to make sure our young people get the first shot at higher education and making sure they have the tools and they're equipped when it comes for higher education. She is a proud native of D10, 45 years doing this work, passionate about education, supporting our youth socially, and making sure that they receive their full potential. She's the executive director of the Baby Youth. She's run through a lot of programs here. I'm going to bring her up and let her introduce herself. But what a phenomenal sister. I'm in a lot of meetings with her. When I say she goes 7 days a week, 24/7, every time I look around, there's a Diane Gray somewhere on the call. So I just want to say thank you before we start. And we appreciate you, sister, for the things you are doing to impact our youth. And with that being said, go ahead, Diane, and introduce yourself to people who might don't know you.
Hey, Brother John. How you doing? How you doing, everybody out there? Yes, I'm Diane Gray, co-founder and director of 100% College Prep. We're a program in the San Francisco Bayview Hunters Point community, of which I grew up in. I've been a 45-year resident of that community. Been doing this work with 100% College Prep for over 20 years. And I love to share the story of the fact that this was not intentional, this work and this program that we started. My cousin and I were actually volunteering in the community. Both of us grew up in the Bayview Hunters Point community, Jackie Cohen, and she and I are first cousins. And so we just started volunteering in our community and had a conversation with a group of young people that we were working with. They actually happened to be female, preteen, teenagers, I believe from 11 to like maybe 14. And we just began to talk about their futures and going to college and careers. And we just didn't like what we heard. And so we went to the organization where we were volunteering and asked that they provide tutors. And so what ended up going is, one day a week girls group ended up being 2 days a week with academic support and then bringing in the whole college piece, right? And so with that, We got other young people involved. There was a boys group there. And before you knew it, we had volunteers and parents just being a part of this, just making sure that our young people, our babies, get what they needed. Because even those students who were interested in going to college, they were not given the guidance or the counseling in high school. For example, we had students taking, a foreign language. They'll take Spanish this semester. They're like, oh, I think I'll try, French next year. And then they'll take French. And of course, we know that to get into college, you have to have 2 or 3 years of the same language. And so there were things like that happening that we said, this can't happen. And so we operated actually as not even a nonprofit, just again, a group of folks that got together, going on college tours, went on our first HBCU college tour within that first year that we started back in 99. We actually took a tour in 98 before we became 100% college prep. But yeah, we operated for like 6 years without being a nonprofit. And so then we all got together and like, yeah, I don't think this is going anywhere anytime soon. Of course, we were making a difference in the community. By that time, this was like 2005. We had 5 or 6 graduating classes. And actually, in the very beginning, we had mostly boys that were graduating. And the location where we ended up in this Victorian that's been a legacy in our community. Like one floor of this Victorian historic building was served youth like back in the 1950s. And so the building had been sitting there in our community on the corner, beautiful space, huge yard to the side, had been unused for nearly 15 years. And so we just made a pitch to the nonprofit who had just acquired a building like 18 months before, and began to share the space. We still weren't a nonprofit. The building had really good bones, but needed a lot of cosmetic work. This was like in spring of 2001. And so long story short, our parents raised the materials. We had contractor friends that said, hey, we'll volunteer our time. Actually, one contractor like totally gutted the 3rd floor, which was a full apartment with a kitchen and everything. And so he totally gutted that out. We had stairs built to the 3rd floor, which there were no stairs when we got there. And so we just got together. Different businesses, Home Depot, small hardware stores gave us discounts and free supplies to make it happen. And we're still in the building today. And actually now we're owners of the building. And that's quite a big deal in San Francisco. As we know, the property in San Francisco is hugely expensive and still is, even though it's, some of that is going down a little bit. But for a nonprofit to own property in San Francisco is a really big deal. So we're really, really proud of that. And we turned the building 3 floors into office space for our staff and space for groups, and then a computer lab and it's real nice hangout space. And so we've had a lot of folks that really helped us make that happen. A lot of organizations like Rebuilding Together that helped us shore up the space and rebuild our computer, redesign and rebuild our computer lab. So it's just been a lot of stuff we really done on the fly. And so in the end of 2005, we became a nonprofit organization. And so now our program is now under another organization, Young Community Developers, but we're still acting as, and we still are 100% college prep, getting students into college. We have an awesome staff that I think some of them you will meet tonight, our student success coaches. And we use that student success coach title to mean that we support students in and out of school, right? It's a holistic way that we work with young people, having our breakthrough sessions where, we identify barriers and those kind of things, so that, any barriers that prevent our students from being successful academically, right? And so we go into the schools. We actually have student success coaches that are assigned to specific middle schools and high schools who we serve. So we serve primarily 6th grade to 12th grade in our school sites. We're in 3 high schools, 2 middle schools. And then in our after school site, we serve 8th grade to 12th grade. And we've had some wonderful, wonderful partners to help us do this. We cannot do this alone. And we make sure that our young people are involved in as much that goes on throughout the city and other programs as well. We promote that. And so we offer after school programming. Before the pandemic, it was like 4 to 8. We provided dinner for our students Monday through Thursday. On Friday was really designated for our seniors, for them to come in and do scholarships and those kind of things and really bond together as a group. So now what we've been doing is a lot of online work, and some of our staff can talk about individually some of the work that they've been doing online and what we call our virtual learning program. And we've had things like dorm school, dorm room. It's all about college life and watching college movies and having panels of sororities and fraternities come out. And then also our Black series. And so the work there, our brothers and sisters making change, that's another group. And so it's just, we're trying to give, and also our Bayview BSU and our citywide BSU, that's also part of the 100% family that Brother John talked about earlier. And just providing those opportunities for our young people to excel, right? Our profile of student is really that middle student, that student that's getting a C average, kind of bumping along, no one's paying attention. And, that's the student that we want to grab and that we want to uplift, right? That we want to encourage and motivate them to achieve where we know that they can achieve. And, that's something that that's missing in our schools, really. Many of our students do not get the guidance that they need in the schools that they attend. And so we want to partner with schools, but we also fill that void that has happened for our Black students and their families as well, as they go through this whole college prep, this college admissions, college application, all of that, financial aid. We do all of that good stuff and help our young people like really, really achieve. Last year, our class of 2020, about 2021 seniors as a group raised over $600,000, almost $650,000 in scholarships. And that's to our transition coaches and our high school student success coaches working together to make sure that happens. That I also want to give a shout out to my AD, my assistant director, Tashelle Lane, the awesome work that she does as well, bringing supervising, overseeing that transition program as we work with our 11th and 12th graders. So we have 2 divisions. We have lower division, which is 8th grade to 12th grade. 8th grade to 10th grade, I'm sorry. And then we have upper division, 11th grade and 12th grade. And we know that these young people, they're at different places in their high school career or just transitioning into high school, some transitioning out of high school into college. So we want to make sure that we have the program that meet their needs where they are. And again, we partner with a number of organizations, Alive and Free. Many of our seniors and even some of our juniors join Alive and Free, and that's one of our top partners. San Francisco Achievers is another partner that we've had in the past, and our young people, especially our brothers, because it focuses on Black males, have gotten scholarships from that program. San Francisco State is one of our top programs as well. Their Step to College program, our juniors and seniors can actually earn up to 6 college credits. And these are credits that they can take to any school. And it goes on their transcript, and it really boosts their GPA as well, right? And then they can start off with 6 elective credits, which means that's money in your pocket for free. And actually, while they're in class, they're actually a San Francisco State student. So they have the badge, they have the card, they can use the library, they can use any facility on the campus as a junior and a high school senior at San Francisco State. And that's a awesome partner that we've had for about 5 years now. So that's really the work of 100%. I really would love for you all to hear from our staff. I don't know if we have a young person joining us tonight, but definitely from our staff, we have one staff member with us that is an alum, and we've had a number of alums that have become staff. And so, yeah, that's really the work that we do. And it's just been an awesome time. It's been an awesome 20 some odd years to say we didn't start off. We had no intention of starting a nonprofit. And then, here we are, funding from a couple of city departments, from foundations. And so we're doing the thing. And, Historical Black College Tour, kids love it. We actually take kids that are not always members of our program as well, if we have that space. But we do so many regions of the South, and we've had a huge number of graduates from HBCUs as a result of those tours, and being able to see themselves on campus has just been an awesome experience for those young people. And so we tour them all around the South, from Southeast, like DC and Maryland, and then all the way down to Louisiana and Mississippi. So we're so grateful to be and blessed to be able to do this work. And like I always say, I'm blessed to be a blessing to others. And so, yeah, that's the work that we do.
Wow. Phenomenal work, Diane. And I don't see any of the youth tonight, but we've been having them on. The fourth Tuesday has been dedicated to making sure that our young people is here. People been asking, well, who's the leader of all of this? And I know you have a phenomenal team under you, but the vision that you had, just want to commend you because you have that village approach. Making sure that the village is behind the young people, but you also innovative in your thinking, because that was a lot of the things that I thought our kids, especially in D10, needed, was an opportunity to get out of San Francisco, or for our kids to get out of the Bay Area and see something different. And a lot of the families I've talked to about the program that you run over there and getting kids out to the different Black colleges and just the tours that you guys have been doing over the years. Just phenomenal stuff. These parents are so elated for the work you guys do. And a lot of times I hear them say, if it wasn't for Diane, if it wasn't for Tashelle, if it wasn't for Javier, Diontae, and the staff, I don't know if my kid would have made it. And that's a blessing. And I'm sure you hear a lot of the thank yous. I'm in these realms. I'm in the community. I know a lot of these families. And the one thing that I hear about your program versus a lot of the programs that are in our area is the consistency, right? And you talked about the meals. It's more of a family. And I know you guys are about the educational piece, but what I hear from the young people when I talk to them is the love, the compassion, and the humility and humanity that they get when they come to 100% college prep, and how we encourage the young people. And I think that's just phenomenal. So, kudos to you for the work you do. I know you are a humble leader. I see you in a lot of the meetings. A lot of times you don't say much. But one thing that I know, you are paying attention, and you're definitely doing the things that is needed to impact our community. And I just want to shout you out and thank you for that. Go ahead.
I want to say one thing too. I'm going to give a shout out to my cousin Jackie, because we're kind of like one side of the brain. She was like the relationship part, and all up in the young people's business and all of that. And I was kind of like, the put it on paper, get it organized and that kind of thing. And the other thing that I failed to mention is one of the things, the ways that which we raised our HBCU, our funds and stuff to help young people on the tour, is our musical showcase. And if anyone wants to see some of the clips, just do 100% College Prep musical showcase. And I kid you not, clips come up. Kids recreate, it's just lip syncing, but they recreate all of these, all of our R&B and our soul singers and performers. And people think, oh yeah, that's just, let me go over there, just some little kids doing some stuff. And when they go, they're just blown away that it's so professional. that is so on point. The costumes, we got gowns and wigs to do the Supremes and a whole bunch of stuff. And it's really cool. So the kids, you're absolutely right. It's a family, and there's so many things that we try to do and keep our young people engaged and happy. So thank you.
No, definitely. Thank you. And I know in the future there's talks and things that we're going to try to do. Just working with Michelle and Javier, doing you guys spoken words and just watching how the program is laid out. Phenomenal team you have there. You put together a phenomenal team. And I must give them their credit. I see the
Yeah.
impact with our young people. So just kudos to you guys. Thank you for your leadership. Thank
Thank
you for
you.
thank you for always being there for our young people. Like I said, this is no talking.
Yeah, right.
This woman is at every meeting, anything with our youth. She is there. She is definitely a pillar of our community. So just want to say thank you again. I'm glad you was able to have time tonight. And we're going to continue to support you in your efforts and anything you need. Here at both sides of the conversation, we support you and we'll make sure that you have access to whatever you need. So thank
Thank
you
you.
again tonight,
Thank
Diane. You
you.
are a hidden gem. But
Yeah,
not
thank
hidden no
you.
more. Everybody know now. The people who did know, they all know. Miss Diane Gray, thank you again. We're going to
Thank
go ahead and
you.
move on to our next hidden gem. But thank you very much. All right, we're gonna move to our next hidden gem. Auntie April, are you ready? Let me see if you can turn your camera on if you're ready. This powerful sister here, she's one of our phenomenal black businesses. I know she was getting in here. Auntie April, are you available? Are you ready? Let's see if we can get her up. Oh, she might be having some cameras issue. Let's see. She might not be ready yet. Okay, we'll go ahead and let's jump into the next hidden gem then. Miss Mya, are you ready, Miss Mya, or you want to go to somebody else? I know she wanted to wait. You ready? No, Miss Mya ain't ready. All right, we're gonna bring Jason up. Jason, you look like you ready. We're gonna bring my brother Jason up here. Jason is an alumni of 100% College Prep. He's one of their math tutors and student success coaches at Dr. Martin Luther King Middle School. He's a member of the Omega Sci-Fi organization, co-founder of Brothers Making Change for 100% College Prep. Phenomenal king, doing some great things with our young folks. I'm gonna go ahead and introduce him and bring him up to the stage so we could go and hear from this great brother here. Brother Jason, what's going on, good brother?
Not much. How you doing?
All right, man. Go on and introduce the people, man, who you are, what you doing, how you got started, and tell the people about your story coming through 100% College Prep.
All right. So my name is Jason Phillips. I work for 100% College Prep as a student success coach. I first got involved with 100% through my mother meeting Diane's cousin Jackie. My mom used to work at. It used to be called SFES before it was all the YMCA and different things like that, or O'Hallows. My mom and my aunt used to work there back in the day. So during that time, they had met Jackie. Jackie was, pumping up 100%, and that was during its fourth year of conception. It was already up and running, and we got invited to go to one of the showcases back then, and in 2003, which was my freshman year of high school at Wallenberg. I started going to 100% college prep. It was myself and my older brother and my two cousins at the time. And as my younger brother got older, he started attending 100% college prep as well. Um, I always felt like 100% was definitely always a dope organization. Um, it was definitely a beautiful thing to see a lot of people that look like me because growing up, I'm from San Francisco, born and raised. I grew up in the Fillmore, to be exact. Um, there was definitely black organizations within the Fillmore where I was able to go attend the African American. I was the African American Cultural Center. I was able to do programs through them back in the day. There was a program called ACE Project. So being able to be my parents making sure they put us in programs with people that look like us at all times was always a beautiful thing. So when I went to 100%, it always felt like it felt family oriented, and that was one of the things that was always beautiful. I know Diane and Jackie, they were always, they was like the faces of 100%, but then they also had, dope staff back then as well. So it was like when we go there, like kind of like how Diana hinted at, our cousin Jackie was definitely the one, she was always the one that's building relationships because during that time with her working for um, the school bus, like whenever it was like different things going on, she'd make sure she'd get a bus driver for us to go on field trips And it was different during our time, because if Jackie hit us up and said, "Oh, we're going on a field trip," we didn't care where it was. The fact that we heard we was going on the field trip, everybody was ready to show up and hop on the bus, because it was, like I said, it was family oriented. So spending time with one another was just always a beautiful thing. So always having that element always kept me coming around, and it kept a lot of the alumni and other people coming around, because a lot of times when you come back, you're happy to see familiar faces that you knew, that you kind of grew up around. And a lot of familiar faces. I know none of the staff that was there when I was there is there anymore, but I still have a way of reaching them via social media or via their cell phones. But they still even drop by periodically from time to time, whether it's coming by to support the showcase, or if Diane has anything going on or Jackie has anything going on, due to the network and the family type of feel that they created over the years. They have allowed everybody feel comfortable to come back and we just want to be around, whether they're giving back or just to be in the presence of 100%, because it has that aura that just keeps you coming. As a student success coach, during this is officially my 9th year there. I started working at 100% back in I think it was like August of 2011. It was. So in August of 2021 will be 10 years there for me. But I started working there back in August of 2011. After doing a program with YCD, which I guess it was meant to be that YCD eventually merged with 100%, with them both being in the community doing amazing work, it was only bound to happen. But with me, early on, I started working with kids when I was 14. I'm 31 currently, so I've been working with youth for like 17 years. I started off working in elementary by the name of Kate Kennedy, which is located off of like 30th and Noe. 30th and Noe is like a Spanish immersion program. So during that time, I was working with elementary kids, and always constantly having to come up with games for them and helping them with their homework and just giving them that type of support. It just always kept me motivated to want to be around the youth, being on the front line, because at the end of the day, I feel like working with the youth is never a dull moment. When you get to have those personal interactions where you're getting to have dope conversation, you're getting to mentor the kids, as well as to show them what's out there, rather than because sometimes you get some kids that haven't been outside of their own community. So being able to just talk to them about other things out there, whether it's like financial justice, or being able to talk to the kids about going to HBCUs, because a lot of times a lot of the students that went to 100% college prep oftentimes tend to go to HBCUs. Not everybody. We have other students that went to schools like Columbia. You have students that went to schools like San Francisco State. You got students that went to like UC Merced. So there's other schools that's definitely that our students have attended, but a lot of students definitely are heavily based in going to HBCUs. Just that pride that we've received over the years from going on the HBCU college tours definitely have opened up the youth eyes to seeing the endless opportunities, and just the kind of like I said, how 100% has that family feel. A lot of times that the HBCUs that different students chose and attended gave them that family feel too. So it just kept the students motivated and gave them that extra drive. So that's just a little bit about myself and a little bit about 100%. I don't know if you have any other questions, anything else you need to know.
Man, that's cool. I want to jump in there and just say phenomenal story. These testimonies, these stories like you're talking about going through these programs is why community needs to invest in our youth. See, when you go through a great program like this, you get an understanding of what family feels like. You get a sense of what community feels like, right? And then you could actually come back and impact the young people. And I just want to give you mad props, because again, in our Black and brown community, when it comes to this thing we call math, there's a stigma behind Black and brown children that says we struggle when it comes to math. So again, you should be very proud of what you're doing, because I was going to ask you, like, what's the secret? Because I know, is it just having a Black educator like yourself working with these young people, getting it, or is it just different techniques that you're using? Because I talk to some of these educators and they say, John, our Black and brown students are falling behind when it comes to reading and math. They're just so far behind, and I'm starting to believe that it's a little bit more than that, right? It's how we teach our young people, because I know in our community, the Black and brown community, we learn a little different. So from your perspective, you're breaking this math stigma. So I just want to hear from you. What is it? What is it about the math that's challenging? And then what do you do to help these kids overcome those obstacles? Because I think community needs to hear this. We have a lot of educators who are watching, and I'm just tired of hearing that Black and brown youth struggle when it comes to math, reading, and writing and comprehension. So what's the techniques you use? Or is it not a technique, or is it just the love and the compassion that and the energy that you put into them? I mean, what is it?
I would say love and compassion, but I feel like one of the other things is, time and having patience, because I feel like a lot of times, unfortunately, I see it's joked about like in like different videos sometimes where like you see the parents, they're like, what is 3 + 2? And then all of a sudden, the kid's trying to figure out, and then all of a sudden the parent just keeps getting louder, and like that's supposed to help them figure it out. It's like, no, you just repeated the same exact question and didn't phrase it for them differently. I'm like, because at the end of the day, I know everybody has a different learning style. So just trying to figure out what is the best way to teach that student, because, what might work for me might not work for you. So, and I know a lot of times when it comes to, Black people specifically, and the Black and brown youth, I know a lot of us, we're not only we're visual learners, but we're also, kinesthetic, like we're hands on, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, you could talk to me. I mean, there are, of course, there's Black and brown people that are definitely auditory learners, but, just being able to, making sure somebody can help you touch on all the different learning styles so you can try to exhaust all the different options so you can learn the things that's being presented in front of you. Because I tell people all the time, there's things in math I do not know, because there's math has changed so much, especially when I see some of this new math that the kids are doing. But, luckily, I'm able to catch on fast. So sometimes, I might go to a YouTube video and, I don't ever feel like I'm too good to still learn, because sometimes you got people that feel like they're too good to learn, or they feel embarrassed, where it's like, I'll go look at a YouTube. And then once I learn it and I can catch on to the concept and grasp what's going on, I'm like, all right, this is what I learned. All right. I tell the students, all right, let's sit down, let's figure this out together. This is what we're going to do. And we're going to work through it together, because sometimes you got to be able to show your own vulnerability and your own flaws and different things like that. Because, of course, people might assume like, oh, well, you're the educator, this and that. And like, hey, just because I'm the educator of different things like that doesn't mean I know everything. And, I can learn from you just like you can learn from me. So just keeping those type of options open, I feel like, it helps you figure out the student that you're working with and how to understand how they learn so you can become better at teaching them.
Man, I love how you put that. And that's powerful, because it is about consistency and it's about patience. And all I heard this brother talk about is finding the way that works for these young people. And I know young people that come from these challenged communities that we are in when it comes to violence, the social economical issues, just some of the things that we deal with in our homes, coming to school. A lot of times these kids are dealing with so much trauma and different things. And I think that's key that you said that we have to have patience and understanding. And all of our kids do learn different. And I just commend you, my brother. Thank you for doing the work. Thank you for having that grace and compassion for our young people. We need more educators like you. And again, we're going to keep pushing this. I had the brother from Urban Ed on here talking about the same thing. How do we get our Black and brown community culturally appropriate in the education classrooms, making sure that they understand that that is needed? Because when we there's a different vibe, there's a different swag and a different level of confidence that our young people get when they see people like us in the classroom. So just want to say thank you, Jason, and just glad to have you as a hidden gem tonight, my brother. You ain't hidden so much. So if people want to reach out to you, if your kid's struggling with math and you're looking for a brother to come give them some game, you got the brother Jason here. Reach out to 100% College Prep, and I'm sure this brother be willing to reach out and make sure that your kid had the information that's needed. So thank you again, my brother, for doing what you do. Keep up the great work. Keep doing this. It takes a village. It takes all of us to do our little parts to make this thing that we call village real tangible. So thank you very much, my brother.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. All right. With that being said, I think we have Miss Mya. I think we lost Auntie April. Hopefully she tried to log back in. We're going to bring up this phenomenal young sister here. She is one of 100% college prep high school student success coaches. She's worked for college prep over 4 years. She's doing her work at John O'Connell High School. She's from St. Louis, Missouri. She was an active member in the Ferguson protest. That's powerful. Want to hear a little bit about that. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring up Miss Mya to the screen and have her introduce herself to community and what she's doing over at 100% college prep. How you doing, Miss Mya?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you so much for having me and my team, my colleagues, my coworkers. This is amazing. But yes, my name is Mya Canty. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. As you said, I work at John O'Connell High School as a coach, as an advisor, as a mentor. And what brought me to 100% college prep in California in general is so funny. Single-handedly, Angela Davis. I remember being in college. I got my degree in race and gender studies, and just being a senior. And I'm just like, oh, I don't really know what I want to do, but I know I want to be like her. And each senior had to do an internship somewhere, and so I chose to go to UC Santa Cruz and intern at the Feminist Studies department there, because that's where Angela Davis taught. And I had never been to the West Coast, never been to California, but I was just like, hey, I wanna learn from her. Unfortunately, the year that I was doing my internship, she was just retiring. But I thankfully got to work with her close colleagues, her close best friends that actually also work at UC Santa Cruz. And funny thing is, we actually met months later during the Ferguson protest. And so, yeah, after I got out of college, literally months after I graduated in May, Michael Brown was murdered in August. And he actually stayed right around the corner from me, like literally like 30 seconds. And so everything that you all saw on your TV screens during that time was literally my community, my home. And oh goodness, I don't want to get emotional. I always get emotional when I think about that time, because it was really just a pivotal point in my life and so many of our lives, because in a way it was one of the sparks of the Black Lives Matter movement. And essentially how that led me to where I am right now is, as you all know, like a lot of young people, we were out there, college students, even students much younger than me, were out there on the front lines fighting for justice and for liberation. And so I just noticed that I felt like our young people didn't have enough space and opportunity to voice what they were going through. And so during that time is kind of how I figured out what I really wanted to do, which was work with young people. And so I had gotten the opportunity to go back to the West Coast, and I worked with an organization through AmeriCorps called City Year, where I served as a tutor and as a mentor at a high school in San Jose. And there in that space is actually where I kind of created a platform that I'm still doing today with 100% College Prep, which is called the Black Series. And I'm super duper proud of myself and another one of my colleagues at City Year. We created the Black Series because we noticed that a lot of the African American students at the high school in San Jose were a little bit detached from their Blackness. Some of them that were even visibly Black didn't even claim their Blackness, or they really didn't know much about Black history. So we created a series of workshops called the Black Series for them to navigate their experiences as Black people, to learn about all the amazing things that Black folks have done and contributed to this world, to kind of give them a sense of pride. We wanted them to walk around that school like with their heads held high, like they knew who they were and where they come from, you know? And it really, quite frankly, shifted the culture at that school. And I'm so happy to say that they are still doing the Black Series to this day at that high school. Even though myself and my colleague, Gabby, are doing other things, the students have still kept that space going. And from there, I felt that the Oakland, San Francisco area was a perfect place for me to grow in my work because of the legacy of the Black Panther Party. And I was like, this is where I want to learn from. And this is the knowledge that I want to bring back to my home community to lift us up. So that led me to working with 100% College Prep. I did not come across any other organization that was doing this work that was so intentional about Black students, not anybody else, but just African-American students. And that's really what kind of drew me in, because that's the work that I wanted to do. So it was honestly a perfect meshing. I felt really at home, and the mission just aligned with my personal values and my goals, wanting to support Black youth and lift up Black youth. And I'm so happy. I've had some of the best times of my life working with 100% College Prep. Like, I mean, I've just gotten to build so many great relationships with students and their parents and their families. And at the high school that I work at, John O'Connell, I ain't gonna hold you. I think we got one of the best Black student unions in the whole state of California. We have done some really, really amazing work. And I know that from my background, the training that I got from 100% College Prep has helped shift the culture at the high school that I work at. I know that us being there, our presence being there, has really, really and truly changed students' lives. And I'm very proud to be a part of that.
Wow, phenomenal stuff, man. Thank you for your dedication and your work. Just want to say that first because it is very important. And I'm glad that you said the first part of your statement was the inspiration from Angela Davis and people like Diane Gray, Cheryl Davis, different leaders in our community who promotes education. This is why I stand behind these people because, again, the power of what you guys do when you say things, it's very important that our young people hear this because, again, that inspiration from what she's done impacted you, right? And now you have an opportunity to do your work with these young people and impact them. And some of the students that comes out of 100%, like Siobhan Hines, some phenomenal young sisters, right? And you never know who's watching. And this is why I tell people that's in the community doing community work, we have to lead with great ethics, with integrity, okay? Because these young people are watching, and you never know when they're going to see whatever. And that's why this platform is so big about uplifting our voice, telling our narrative, making sure we uplift our young people's voice, right? Because you never know who's going to see something and get inspired. You never know the light switch is going to come click on for that person. And it's important that we continue to hone in on these type of conversations and lead and speak and teach, because you never know which young person is going to get it. And just to hear your inspirational story is so powerful because we have a lot of young people here in this area that's afraid to leave. Right. And you just speaking your testimony by having faith, believing in something and pursuing something that you want, took you away from your environment into another environment. And you was willing to take that risk. And our young people need to see this. And I tell people they have to see this because, again, sometimes we get stuck in our little boxes and we don't want to move and fear kicks in and we don't want to take that step. So just having you out here doing that and talk about it is just very, very phenomenal. When our young people see people like you, I'm just hoping they get encouraged and be willing to take that step of faith to step out and make a difference. So just proud of the work you're doing. Glad to have you at John O'Connell. I remember when John O'Connell was more of a trade school. I know over the years it's transitioned, and just glad to see you guys doing the work and transition our young people. I mean, being part of that BSU is powerful. I see Daisy and a lot of these young kids that come out of there, and the work, the way they articulate is just, contribute to the work that you, Diane, Tashelle, and Javier, Diontae, all you guys are doing. Please keep up the good work. I know this is a thankless, tireless jobs at times. We don't always get the recognition, and that's why we created this segment of this program to make sure that we highlight you guys, give you your roses. It's too many times we lose people in our community, and then we hear about all the phenomenal things they do at the funeral, and we just want to make sure that our people in the community that's on the ground, boots on the ground, putting in the work, pushing this freedom train forward, making sure that our young people are equipped equipped with information to be the next talents of the future. We have to uplift you guys. So just thank you again for the things you're doing. Continue to do the great work. And anything we could do here at both sides of the conversation, we definitely want to support you in your efforts as well as 100%. So thank you very much.
Thank you, John Henry.
All right, all right, thank you. If you guys want to just hang on for a second, I'm gonna pull up Diontae last, and then for the last of you here, we just gonna have a quick conversation or a question. I try to throw out something. Me and Rico always do that. It looks like Auntie April is back. Let me see if I could get her to the screen. Hold on before Diontae come up. Miss April, are you there?
Oh, good Lord Almighty, man!
Okay, I know you've been having
connectivity issues.
That's okay. You're here now. Are you in a good spot?
I hope so. I was at home, but the service in the community, that's one of the big things I'm working on right now is bridging the digital divide. Like, we need so much better service in the community, and it wasn't working at home, so I wouldn't got in the car and took a little ride. So I think I'm here now.
Don't feel bad. I'm in that fight with you. I'm reaching out to Shimon, different leaders. The infrastructure when it comes to Wi-Fi and the fiber options in our community has to be dealt with. So I'm on that fight. We got to make sure our young people have access for school. I'm hearing too many stories about kids not being able to connect to get their educational needs. So definitely. But let me just go on and introduce you. For you all don't know this, Auntie April, she's the owner of Cafe Envy. She is a pillar in the Bayview. When I say doing phenomenal things for the community, she's doing a lot. With Cafe Envy and Auntie April's on 3rd Street, proud mother and community leader. Just wanted to bring you up here because this platform also is about highlighting our Black and brown businesses, and what we need to do as community is make sure that we patronize our Black and brown businesses, because the more that we support our Black and brown businesses and we help them evolve to greatness and financial power, the better that we can have employment opportunities and help bridge the employment gap in our community. Because we know this pandemic has showed us the Black and brown community has been hit the hardest when it comes to layoffs and being fired, and we need community businesses like you to evolve and excel, and we have to support you, because again, the more support you get, opportunities that you'll be able to lend out to community. So just want to say thank you for the things that you're doing. You're always a community hub. I've been to Cafe Envy to celebrate and support, and Auntie April's, and what a phenomenal job you're doing. I know we've had some issues over the time, but with gentrification and change, there's always going to be things happening. But we just wanted to let you know we support you and we support your business. So with that being said, you guys, here's Auntie April. Please go ahead and let the community know where you at, where you're located, your hours of operation, and how we can support build up your business, sister.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad I was able to make it here this evening to be with you guys. We're located, Auntie April is the original, or my flagship restaurant, I should say, has been on 3rd and McKinnon, between Newcomb and McKinnon, for 15 years now, and that's at 4618 3rd Street, and that's where you're going to find all your soul food fare, you know, your oxtail, turkey wings, greens, yams, mac and cheese, and all that good stuff, chicken and waffles, shrimp and grits. And then we have Cafe Envy, which is our neighborhood cafe and full bar, and has more of an American flair with a soulful twist. And we're located down on 1701 Yosemite. It's historically it's the old Monte Carlo. So if all of you that were familiar with the Monte Carlo, that is now where Cafe Envy resides. And we would love to have all community support coming out. We have definitely lately been a target of and harassed a certain neighbor that has been making it difficult for Cafe Envy and its patrons to celebrate ourselves and just join a community. And so we've been fighting down there for our right to have space, unapologetically being Black, and a space to call our own. So we definitely can use any and all support down at Cafe Envy for all of you that support sustaining Black economic businesses in our community and in San Francisco. So it's bigger than just keeping Cafe Envy open. It's about keeping Black San Francisco alive. And so, as much as whomever can and are willing to support, please come out and support Cafe Envy. And I appreciate you for allowing me to be here and share some time with you tonight.
Yeah, no problem. Phenomenal job you're doing. You heard what the sister said to our allies out there. I want my allies to hear this. Okay? We know gentrification is happening in San Francisco. When you guys come into our neighborhood, it's a community. You guys are coming in the community. You need to understand the history of the community. You have to support us. You maybe don't understand how everything works, but you have to be a part of us. To all of our organizations across that southeast sector, all the way down to Mission Bay, our allies are always talking about support. We support the Black Lives Movement. We support our Black community. Here's an opportunity for Mission Bay, Kaiser, Levi, all of the large corporations down there. Support our local Black businesses. Let's do a better job at supporting Black Fridays every day. When you have community meetings down there, when you guys are having staff meetings, and you guys looking for catering opportunities, come to the community. Come to the southeast section of 3rd Street. Support these Black businesses. That's what our allyship needs to look like. We don't want to hear just, we support you guys, we have your back. Supports look like the financial justice needed, because we can't compete with some of these other restaurants and other commercialized institutions. Please support the small Black businesses. And it starts off with restaurants like Auntie April's and Cafe Envy. So we're looking for that support. All of our allies, let's take a trip down there. Let's leave the marina. Let's leave the Presidio and come spend our dollars in our community.
John, I also want people to know, if people, some people may not know that Bayview and the entire 94124 zip code is now designated as an African American Arts and Cultural District. And so it is imperative that we all do our part in sustaining Black business, because what is an African American Cultural District if there's no Black business or Black home ownership within the district? So please, you guys, start looking out for events and information forums and things like that regarding the cultural district, and you have to become a part. We are looking for members. If you go to our website at sfAACD.org, and you can check out, .com, and you can check out our website on how to become a member of the cultural district. And I think it's going to be, we really have a generation of people right now who are really putting in the work to sustain black business and black people in San Francisco, because this is the last of the Mohicans, right? If we don't get this right, then we're ousted from San Francisco. There's nowhere else. There's no other community, I think, right now that has the percentage of Black people than Bayview right now. I think we have the highest percentage right now, I think, of Black San Francisco. So, and the cultural district actually represents all Black people of San Francisco. We're just not putting ourselves in a box at 94124. This is where we reside and where our home is, but we are for all San Franciscans, all Black San Franciscans. So please join us and get involved.
Thank you for that information. And yeah, definitely reach out to Michelle. Any flyers, any information, we'll blast on our social media handle just to make sure community knows about it, because we definitely want the community to get involved. It's very imperative that we do this, and we definitely want to keep fighting for our Black space, and definitely our allies that's coming out to support. Just understand, this is our space, and I know we welcome you guys with open arms, but please have respect for the Black space and our culture. And we always respect everybody else's culture, but please come over there with that type of empathy and understanding. A lot of people feel like they're being pushed out by the gentrification. So the best thing you guys can do within the community is just show support and understand that this shift has impacted a lot of people in this community. And the last little things we have for be compassionate, be understanding, and support us. So thank you again, Auntie April. Anything that we can do again will help you. And we want to continue to keep uplifting your business and make sure that our people come out and patronize your businesses.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate the continued support.
All right. Thank you. You have a blessed one.
Me too.
All right. All right. Our last hidden gem of tonight, the young brother. This brother right here. Oh man, Diontae is a phenomenal brother. I like the work that he's doing with our young people. He is have a lot of thought process when it comes to talking to our young people. He's passionate about our young people. So just glad to have this brother come on tonight to tell his truth about what he's doing over at 100%. He's one of their transitional coaches. He's coordinated Brothers Making Change and co-facilitator of the Step to College for San Francisco State University. He also came all the way from Baltimore, Maryland to California to attend college at San Francisco State. He graduated class of 2020, carrying 23 units plus a full-time job. When they say where's the brothers at? Where's the brothers at? Here's a good brother here that's doing the work, and just happy to see him tonight, and just being a part of some of the calls with him when impacting our young people. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring Diontae up to the stage. Diontae, are you there? Oh, wait, you cut your hair. Hold on. He cut his hair. Oh, man. He done went cold turkey on me. What's going on, good brother, man? Talk to the people and let them know what you're doing, man. Just want to say proud of you. I was on that call the other morning as we was prepping the young people to get ready for these interviews for their scholarships. Just powerful feedback. And what a inspiration of knowledge and wealth of knowledge and information that you was just giving them. And we was just dropping gems on our young people. And I heard a bunch of them was successful. So shout out to you for doing that work, man, and your continued dedication to our young people in the community, man. So thank you, brother. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
Yeah, man. Appreciate the shout out, John. I appreciate that, man. As y'all know, Diontae Burden from Baltimore, Maryland.
Oh, your mic is muted. I think your mic is muted. There you go. I think we lost you for a second. Go ahead.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, yeah. So I was just saying, like, I drove here from Baltimore in 2017. It took me about 3 days to get here. Kind of just picked up and just, realized that I wanted to get out of a situation I was in, man, and change my life around. So the way I got to 100%, it's crazy, man. So probably like a week after I got to California, I was playing basketball at a school called Gavilan, and then I ended up transferring to San Francisco State. And I was like, man, San Francisco is expensive. I need a job. So the little refund checks, they wasn't, them little student athlete checks wasn't enough. So I reached out to 100%, and I didn't get no answer. So literally that next morning, I put on a blazer, I put on a dress shirt, some slacks, and I literally drove to the address, knocked on the door, and then I was like, y'all wasn't returning my calls, so can I get an interview? And that's when I met Mr. Shell, I met Ms. Diane, Kevin Williams, I met Jason Phillips, and I think they were shocked that I just showed up and knocked on the door, and I was just like, man, I need an interview. Can I get an interview? Like, I'm here. I had an interview that day. Then literally I seen Mr. Shell on campus at San Francisco State probably that next day. She was like, I didn't forget about you. I'm going to call you. And I'm just like, all right. So fast forward, man, I got hired. And then, it kind of took off from there. I went on a college tour with them, went to Jackson, Mississippi, went to New Orleans, started meeting the kids, started, trying to involve myself. It was just it was an adjustment for sure. Cause, being from the East Coast / the South, man, stuff is a little different. But I just realized that, I could just be myself, I got this thing called Diontae isms that Brother Javier kind of put that on me, man. I got away with words, man. I got away with getting kids to do stuff in a positive way. And honestly, man, ever since I started working, and I was working at Burton High School, it was just like the impact was just like I started having like easy access. Like kids just started gravitating to me. It was like, man, Mr. Baltimore, man, you be honest, like you be consistent, like you don't sugarcoat nothing, you don't hold nothing back. And I'm like, man, this is me. I just was myself. And kids notice when you aren't being 100% with them. Like they'll notice it off the jump. So I would tell my story, man, how I, grew up with nothing, raised single mother, 6 siblings, only one to go to college, the only one to graduate high school. Uh, Man, on my own since I was 16. So when I got out here, I just teach kids to not, don't let your environment dictate your behavior. Just because you grow up a certain way or you don't have something that somebody else don't have, it doesn't deter you away from reaching your success. So fast forward, man, I've been working with the Brothers Making Change. I got a shout out to Jason and brother Kevin Williams, man. They showed me the ropes. I wouldn't be able to do Brothers Making Change if it wasn't for them. Um, so fast forward to that, I've been helping kids with like college applications, financial aid, personal statements, public speaking, emotional intelligence. Recently, I've been doing financial literacy, just studying myself because I'm still learning myself. But for me, man, I just feel like the best way for me to be with kids is to be real with them. I just always keep it real with them. Whenever they ask me about my story, I make sure I tell them specific details just so they know, okay, he understands where I'm coming from. He knows how it feels to not have something. But he also knows how it feels to reach and actually go and obtain that thing that you really want. So I tell the kids all the time, I don't make excuses. I don't like excuses. One of my favorite things is get through what you go through, and beating deadlines is meeting deadlines. So for me, I learned that time management is something that I'm really good at. As you said, I took 9 classes, 23 units. I was working 40 hours at 100%. I was working 35 hours with the Golden State Warriors. And I wrote a book on top of that. And I said that I told my counselor that I'm going to finish with straight A's. And she just thought I was crazy. Some of my students that I was telling them, look, I'm taking 9 classes, but I'm still helping you out. I'm still at Burden every day. So, and I finished with straight A's. I did. And she sent me a long email. But I teach kids that because I want them to know, like, push yourself to your potential, not to your limits. It's just keep going. Like, don't stop just because things get a little rough, because that's what's going to happen. But that's when I come in handy, and I encourage them, man, consistently. But working at 100%, man, it's been amazing. To be honest, it's the best job I've had in my entire life. Miss Diane, Mr. Shell, everybody, they also encourage you. They encourage me to do the things that I'm good at. Not something that I'm weak at, which I don't know what I'm weak at, but uh, they embrace me. They embrace who I am, and they allow me to help the kids in a way that I want to help them. Right now we're doing the Sisters and Brothers Making Change, something that Brother Jason brought up a while ago, and we able to incorporate it, and it's been going great. I started bringing kids back in on Fridays in person, socially distanced, but I noticed the pattern of kids. They weren't able to get stuff done on Zoom, or they were zoomed out. So I'm like, you know what? All right. If anything, I like getting it out the mud. So that's just how I was raised. So if one thing don't work, you find another way. You don't make an excuse. So started putting my mask on, and I had kids coming in on Fridays, getting scholarships done, getting college applications done, teaching them about credit scores, teaching them about group economics. So every Friday, 3 to 6, I'm there every day, every Friday. And the more I started coming, the more kids got stuff done. Grades started going up. They started getting college applications done, and it was a group thing. Me, Mr. Shell, Mr. Kia, like we was all coming in. Like it was just consistent. So, my role, man, I don't necessarily want to say I have one role, because I I like to do everything. I'm like a cloud, man. Wherever you need me, I'm gonna be there. The students know I'm gonna be on them. I'm gonna respect them, but I expect them to expect themselves to push themselves as hard as they can go, because I'm not gonna let them shortchange themselves. So working at 100%, man, it's been an amazing journey. I appreciate all my coworkers, I don't even like to say coworkers, but I appreciate the family that's here. Um, Miss Diane for hiring me, giving me an opportunity. Didn't know me, didn't know me from a can of paint. Mr. Shell for being on me, making sure I showed up, showing me the ropes. Uh, like I said, Jason and Kevin, they put me on, man, when I was on the college tour with them, took me under their wing. Miss Mya, teach me about Black history and, you know, the Black series and all. You know, I done been to her events at John O'Connor, which I agree. She has one of the best BSUs I think I ever seen. Ms. Deltrice for helping me with like filing and, you know, teaching me how to like organize and stuff like that. Mr. Kid for helping me with like poetry and learning spoken word, you know. Malik just teaching me how to be more, talking about more, you know, self-love and trying to, you know, open up a little more, because I'm kind of like a hard shell for the most part. Javier, once again, man, for teaching me how to perform in front of an audience. I don't think I missed nobody. I think that's everybody. But yeah, man. Basically, I live by this motto, and I'm gonna finish with that. You get through what you go through, and don't make excuses. And yeah, man. Thanks for bringing me on.
No, man, phenomenal, phenomenal, man. Just want to thank you for the work that you do, brother. I see you working, I see you grinding, I see your impact, how kids react to you, and that's just definitely a testament to what you do. Because, like you said, kids only respond if they feel loved and they feel appreciated, and they speak highly of you, and they know you care about them. And I think that's just phenomenal, the stuff that you're doing, man. So continue to do the things that you're doing because your impact is real. Our young people, they believe in you, and you're doing the right things by leading by example. And it doesn't matter where you come from. You know, it's about the impact. We all come from this community. We all look alike. We all do the things that's needed. And we just appreciate having you here. I know you came from Maryland, but we call you now a native of here. You are part of the transplant, as they say. You are one of us because you are doing phenomenal stuff, impacting our youth. So just want to make you feel welcome at home. You know, and that's what it's all about, supporting each other, uplifting each other. We can't do this fight by ourselves. It's going to take a lot of us, especially us males of the community, to make sure that our young people see males doing the right thing and impacting the community. So just thank you for your services. Thank you what you're doing at 100% and just how you impacting our young people, man. Just dope. Proud of you.
Hey, appreciate it, bro. I had to cut it off, man. I'm sorry, no.
I see. I said, man, hold on. He cut his hair out, man. He has some hair going on. Look, you joining the bald head gang. You know what they say? The more wisdom you get, the more books you read, and dealing with the people, you start losing a lot of it. You didn't have to lose it. I lost mine, but just happy to see you. Just happy to see you out here, man, and just looking forward to continue to supporting you with the work you're doing with our young people, and you know, anything that we could do here, we will continue to support you guys because that's what it's all about. I just wanted to see is Miss Mya around? Is she still around? I wanted to ask a question. Diane, is Diane still around? All right, let's see. Diane, I'm gonna bring you up to the stage. I'm just gonna ask a question. Mya, are you around? Let's see if Mya is around. Let's bring Diane up here. Before we close out tonight, I just want to bring you all back up here on the stage. How can I get this better? There we go. You know, before we end every segment, you know, we typically try to ask some question. It's always something random, but because you guys are doing so much stuff in the educational realm, just wanted to ask each one of you before we leave, what do you guys see some of the changes that need to be made in our educational institutions, especially here in San Francisco SF School District, when it comes to just educating our community? There's a lot of issues. And I know, Diane, you've been a part of this school system for a long time, even back to Lowell. But there's a fundamental issue at our San Francisco Board of Education. And right now, there's a lot of people being called out for different things. And there's a lot of feedback that I'm getting from community talking about it's time for the whole board to resign because they're just not impacting our community. They're taking away our opportunities to teach our kids history. There's not really this sense of this education that we need for our community. So just wanted to hear from you guys. What do you think needs to happen as we looking at different changes in position, different leadership? What do you guys think needs to happen to really impact our educational system? And how do we get there? Anybody could start.
Well, one of the things that I have been really big on and is integrating particularly Black history into every subject in our school. I am not an advocate for ethnic studies, right? My thing, and I always say this to people, you know, I could just hear a literature teacher say, yeah, we don't read Baldwin right here. You can go down the hall to room 109. they read Baldwin down there. That should be on a teacher's list of literature, right? When I was in high school and we had to do term papers, I always made it about me, right? Even in my science class where we had human diseases, what I was did my report on was sickle cell anemia, because that affected me and my community, right? When I was in my civics class, I did my paper on Blacks during the Civil War, right? So it was always even I had psychology in high school. In my psychology class, they were just talking about in New York about treating young people who had done adult crimes as adults, right? So I found an article, and that's what I did my paper on, because it was Black and brown young men in New York that they were 14, 15 years old, that they were accused of. So anything that I found something. Any class that I took, I found something about me, right? And I think that's not happening enough in our schools, or not basically happening at all, and even in math, I remember when Mya was at Mya being at O'Connell, and they said, hey, this algebra teacher, and she could probably tell it best, but she said this algebra teacher needs some support. And she was like, I don't even do math. You know what I mean? But she didn't say no. What she did was went into the classroom, walked around, and first thing she thought, there's no Black presence even anywhere in the class, on the walls in the classroom, right? And so when she brought this to the teacher, he was so open to do something, to introduce mathematicians who were Black and people of color, right? And so, they're not, to me, they're not making sure that this curriculum about Black and brown people are part of the regular curriculum in history. I don't need to go take an ethnic studies class. I mean, you can do that in college when you have your major and this, and that. But in high school, elementary school, middle school, that needs to be part of the curriculum. I don't need to take a separate class for that. It's all of it is American history, right? And then we need to go to the continent, or we need to go to other countries, but to where folks have come from. But that Black history is not in our school, in our curriculum, the way it should be. So that's a big one for me.
Wow, Diane, one quick question. What will it take legislatively, or how do we make the change to really impact the curriculum? I don't know the process, how to get there, but I've heard this several times, people talking about the curriculum change. How do we as community support our leaders, like, to get this change, or is it just an unrealistic ask?
I don't think it's an unrealistic ask. I think that we need central office people. We need folks that are part of the curriculum department that are people of color, because largely they're not. So they have their own, many of the teachers have their own learning. They have to learn, there's some things that they need to learn. But if you have people who look like us, who are writing those curriculums, right, who are doing the professional instruction and all that for other teachers, then to me, that's where you will get part of that. But I mean, it's a lot of pieces in that, and it's a political hotbed. But you got the union, the teachers union can step up and say, this what needs to happen. This is what, so it's a number of things that need to come together to really make that happen. I mean, one of the commissioners on the Board of Ed before, the former commissioner, Stephen Cook, he actually had a resolution that was voted on and passed around Black history in the curriculum, right? And then they're saying, like, it takes $15 million for that to happen. Like, huh? What? So, and then they get into all the weeds about this needs to be done and that needs to be done, and there's this curriculum and all, it just, it doesn't really make, that doesn't make sense to me, and so, yeah, Mya.
Wow. Go ahead, Mya. You got to unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Unmute.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, if I may add, I think another part of that is really leaning on our youth. I know for O'Connell, like, our BSU was very critical in like the shift that happened. I mean, the students were like, this is what we want. And they wrote a petition. We spoke in front of staff meetings. And a lot of the things that they put down on that petition were met. Like that following year, we had more Black staff and more Black teachers. The teachers were more open.
Hiring them too, right, Mya?
Absolutely, yeah. They were in
the interview panel, yeah.
Yes. So I think really encouraging our youth to say what they want, because they were, I mean, I know for me in BSU, I would do a lot of introducing of history and things that I felt like young Black kids should know. But they, even though they were happy and excited about that, they were also upset because they were like, this shouldn't be the first time that we hear about these things, and we want to learn more. We need this in a wider platform, and that's kind of what ignited them to say, okay, we need to do something about this. And thankfully, our admin were open and they heard us, and they really, really respected the youth for like having the courage to do that. Especially at that time, we didn't have that many folks of color teaching and admin at all. So I know for our youth, like during that process, it was very nerve-wracking. They felt very intimidated.
And you know, John, who helped with that at O'Connell was the Human Rights Commission. That was like one of like her first projects when she got over to HRC, was helping the young people like just work on how to speak about that, you know, how to plan about that.
Miss Glover.
So yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I mean, you know, it's a lot. I just remember, you know, going through high school and you know, the Black history, like you said, Diane, was so limited. I mean, we learned about Martin Luther King, we learned about Malcolm X, we learned about Rosa Parks, and that was just kind of it. We didn't get into all the other, you know, Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass. That was about it. We didn't really touch into some of the other phenomenal people, and I think that's very important because our young people moving forward need to know where they came from, who their history are, you know, the stories of all
and
these
they
phenomenal people.
want it, and they want it. And so it is our duty to provide that for them. They want it.
Definitely. Diontae, did you want to say anything before we close out? Oh, I guess we lost him for a second. Well, I guess he don't have anything to say. Well, I just want to say thank you guys again for the phenomenal stuff that you guys doing. I just received a message, and I know Rico was supposed to come on tonight. For everybody that's watching, the announcement of the night was Rico Hamilton has taken a position with the city and county of San Francisco. So with that being said, Rico is going to be stepping down here at both sides of the conversation, because the role that he is taking is a very important role here in San Francisco. He's going to be doing some things with accountability. He's going to be doing some things that's going to be helping our nonprofits and evaluating our nonprofits in our community. You guys know here at both sides of the conversation, I'm a big component of accountability and making sure that we check the property pimps in our community who are not doing the right things and making sure the resources get to our community. So for all you guys that's going to be asking and looking, we wanted to come on, and he's going to probably come on in the next day or next live just to let everybody know, because we don't want the rumor mill going. You know, people start making all these rumors. Oh, John and Rico then fell out and it's all chaos over at both sides of the conversation. No, we support and love our brother. Me and him will continue to work together. But again, given the climate that we already in, we don't want the issues. We know allocation and funds and things are running out. And the last thing we need is people saying, hey, you know, these different things. So definitely it's the right thing to do. We definitely don't want any conflict of interest. We don't want anybody questioning his integrity as he goes on his journey. We want to get him off to a good start, making sure he builds those relationships and making sure that he's holding people accountable. And I know he will do it. And again, that's my brother. I love him. But again, if he's not holding people accountable, I'll be the first one to pick up the phone and say, hey, what's going on? Because we do listen to our community. And when community saying resources and things are happening or not getting to the community, that's a concern for me. That's the issue for me. And I'm just happy that he was elected for this position. He's going to be able to do some phenomenal things. So I hope community gets behind him and support him. Yes, there will be some changes here at both sides of the conversation moving forward. It's all good. It's just an opportunity for him in his journey in life for his family. And that's what we promote here, education and making sure that our people have opportunities. This platform will continue to go. We will definitely be looking for another board president and different people to come on the platform to help continue move this platform forward for the community, to help uplift people like Diane and different organizations that are doing phenomenal work, making sure our community know where they at, how to get a hold of them, and continue to have these conversations that's needed in our community. So just wanted to get that information out. We'll continue to run this information out for the next couple of weeks, but we want to make sure people understand, because we don't want to get the rumor mill started and people will be saying, oh, John and Rico fell out. So it's all love. We just proud of our brother. He's making some moves. He's going to be doing some stuff that really, really impact our community. It's needed. And we need eyes on the ground, and we need community to make sure that these allocated funds and these nonprofits who are working in our community are doing the things that's needed to make sure the resources and make sure the community actually gets what's needed. And when these people come in our community who's not doing it out of the way they're supposed to do it, we need people like Rico and other people on that team that's going to be making sure that the information that they're providing and the resources that they're getting are definitely going to the community. So just wanted to get that out there, because I know a lot of people have been asking questions. I've been getting text messages. I heard this, I heard that. That's what's going on. We're going to continue to move, but yes, he will be stepping down as the board president and his co-foundership here at both sides of the conversation. And we will continue to support him and support him on his endeavors as he moves forward to also help impact the community that's needed. So with that being said, this Thursday, we're going to have another phenomenal educational Thursday. We have Mr. Sheldon. They're going to be talking about scholarship and educating, giving the game to the community, how to get our young people involved, how to make sure that they go through the right steps, how to connect with 100%. They're going to put on a phenomenal educational presentation. Looking forward for that. And then this Sunday, we're going to have another conversation. This time it'll be with 100%. We'll have Javier. They're going to have the spoken word. They're going to be talking about some of the things, how to use the minds to impact the community. They're going to do some phenomenal stuff. And we have some phenomenal programming that's going to be coming up with Javier and different people from 100% moving forward for our young people. As we come out of this pandemic, we still want to make sure that our young people have things virtually that they can do on Friday nights and Saturday nights. As we know, a lot of times our young people get impacted with crime and different things on these late hours. I know people been in the house and everybody's want to come out, but we still have to find programming, different things to keep these young people in the house, out of harm's way in our streets. So just looking forward to that. And then next Tuesday, we'll have another follow-up of this Hidden Gem segment. Just looking forward for the growth. Thank you guys for all of the support, the community support, the conversations that's coming in. I am on the phone. So many people are trying to do things here at both sides of the conversation. It is a slow process sometimes getting all of these things out. But I promise you, community, there's some programming that's coming out. There's some people who are getting behind us. There are some people who want to come on and impact our community with information. And I think it's just going to be phenomenal. The things that we're hearing in the partnerships and collaborations that's going to be coming up. So stay tuned for that. There's a lot of changes, but we will get through this storm. We will make through this process and make sure that our community narrative is being pushed in a way that impacts us. And we're going to tell our story our way here at both sides of the conversation.
Yeah.
We're not waiting for CNN. We're not waiting for Fox News. We're going to let you know how you can support all our allies out there. Here's another phenomenal organization, 100% College Prep. You could go ahead and donate, support them. We put their website, it's running across the screen. We have to have this continued support of community to impact our young people. When you have young people like Jason who went through their program, who go on and get further education and come back, this is what's needed. And it's programs like this that we got to continue to uplift and support. Thank you to DJ at YCD. Thank you for the Mega Black team, for all these community resources that are coming together, doing their best to make sure that resources are coming to our community to help impact our community. And hopefully through these resources, we can curb some of this violence, get some of these people in the community active and doing things. And it's going to take ally support as well. We need our allies who are leaders of organizations, HR personnel. Give these opportunities to the people in the community so we can get these people into the working environment where they can make income so they're not taking risks that are impacting our communities negatively. So just want to say thank you again for everybody tuning in tonight. Thank you, Diane, for all the work you're doing, your great leadership. Thank you, Mya.
Diontae. Thank you, Brother John. I mean, the both sides of the conversation. This was a wonderful idea. You guys doing some great stuff. I don't know what you do for this, because you all are big Sunday through Friday, the whole week. And so just, appreciate that. The pandemic thing, some really good things actually came out of that. And I want to say that your show is definitely the ideas and just the inspiration and just the conversation that people don't have, the courageous conversation that we don't always have in the community in a constructive way, right? In a positive, constructive way. So kudos to both of you all, both of you brothers that were co-founders to that with Rico, and just keep it going. And we want to continue to support.
Definitely. You are my motivation. Like I said, when I see you 7 days a week, I can't complain. Some days I'm tired. I look up, I get on the car, see Diane. I said, well, I guess I'm okay then. If she not there, then I can take a break. So just thank you guys. Thank Mr. Shell, Javier, and your team over there. Miss Rogers, you guys are doing phenomenal job. And I just wanted to thank you, and way to go to bless the community to actually put names with faces and see the leadership and see the commitment from 100%. So thank you guys for coming on tonight. At this point, we're going to end this segment of Hidden Gems, and we will see you guys this Thursday as 100% comes on and educate the community about this educational process. So thank you guys.